On the night of January 13th, 2012, the Costa Concordia was a floating paradise, a modern marvel carrying over 4,200 souls through the gentle Mediterranean night. What happened next was not an act of God. It was a tragedy of human error, arrogance, and one fatal, unforgivable lie. At 9:45 p.m., the luxury ended. The man in charge was Captain Francesco Schettino, a man with a reputation for both expertise and hubris. On this night, he chose hubris. He ordered the massive vessel off course to perform a dazzling, unauthorized maneuver, a sail-by salute close to the island of Giglio. Beneath the dark surface, the ship's hull met the Skoll Reef. The impact tore a 174-foot gash in the port side. Water rushed in, immediately flooding the engine room. All power, all propulsion gone. The ship was dead in the water. On board, the 1,000-ton impact registered as a violent jolt. Passengers looked to the crew for answers, but they received only deception. The PA system announced, "Attention, please. We are experiencing a minor electrical problem. Everything is under control." 15 minutes after the hull was breached, water was already consuming the lower decks. Schettino was already lying to the Coast Guard, claiming merely a blackout. He was actively choosing to protect his career over the lives of his passengers. This hour, the hour of denial, was fatal. The passengers knew the truth, even if the bridge refused to confirm it. The loud bang, the heavy, metallic sound of rushing water, and the most undeniable sign: the ship was slowly, irrevocably, beginning to list. Every minute the ship listed further, the chances of a successful evacuation dropped drastically. Evacuation is only possible when the ship is near level. But the captain still hesitated, convinced he could drift the sinking ship towards shallow waters. At 10:19 p.m., the Coast Guard called Concordia after receiving passenger calls. Schettino's reply? Still a minor technical failure. It was a critical lie, preventing the launch of rescue operations. Finally, nearly an hour after the collision, the lie became unsustainable. The tilt was too severe. At 10:39 p.m., the order was given, "Abandon ship." The order was too late. The ship's luxurious decks had become a chaotic, vertical nightmare. Passengers had to crawl, not walk. To let go was to slide towards the lower side, where the lifeboats were already useless. The portside lifeboats were submerged or crashed against the hull. The starboard boats swung wildly, suspended dozens of feet above the sea. This was not an orderly evacuation. It was a desperate scramble for survival in the dark. For the 32 victims, the end came quickly and brutally. They were drowned inside their floating hotel, trapped in the lowest decks or sucked into the cold vortex as the ship began its final catastrophic roll. While hundreds of passengers remained trapped on the rapidly sinking vessel, Captain Schettino abandoned his post. At 11:40 p.m., he took a lifeboat to shore, leaving the vast majority of his crew and passengers to face death alone. He later claimed he had slipped and fallen into the lifeboat. The most infamous part of the disaster was the phone call recorded hours later between Schettino on shore and the furious Coast Guard Captain Gregorio De Falco. De Falco ordered, "Listen, Schettino, there are people trapped on board. Get back on board, for F***'s sake." Schettino refused. "I am here with the lifeboats. I am coordinating a rescue. Get back on board, damn it." The phrase became the rallying cry of the world's disgust. For 2 years, the image of the derelict, half-sunken ship stood as a stark monument to the 32 lives lost, a permanent reminder of one man's deadly negligence. The effort to salvage the wreck was one of the largest and most expensive maritime operations in history, finally righting the ship in 2014 before it was towed away for scrap. In 2017, the legal chapter closed. Captain Francesco Schettino was found guilty of multiple counts of manslaughter, causing a shipwreck, and abandoning his ship. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison. But justice could not bring back the 32 passengers and crew members who lost their lives, not to a storm or an unseen iceberg, but to a lie that was sustained for 60 catastrophic minutes. The Costa Concordia disaster serves as a chilling, modern reminder. A captain is not just responsible for his ship, but for every soul aboard. In the face of disaster, the greatest horror is not the sea, but the failure of courage.